Hello, welcome back to the Pride Pod here on Loud and Proud Orlando. Live with you every Monday at 8 o'clock to talk everything Orlando Pride. This one, Luis, yet again, we are reviewing a loss, a very frustrating loss against Portland Thorns. And then after that, we're going to kind of have a deeper look at the NWSL table and the results around the league. And finally, we're going to finish with a preview of North Carolina Courage away as the Pride take on them this weekend in the latest NWSL matchup that they have got next. So, Luis, my co-host, is here with me. How are you, buddy?
What's up, John? Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that's watching. The Orlando Pride lost to the Portland Thorns 1-0 at Providence Park. First loss of the 2025 NWSL season. Portland has a number on Orlando. Everyone is trying to definitely kill the Pride, essentially, by any way, shape, or form. A lot of bad refereeing, a lot of bad commentary, a lot of horrible fashion. I do want to say, I don't know if I was watching a 1920s soccer game, because the coach of the Thorns, man, that outfit he had, my
He's a
God,
dapper fella. He's a dapper
my
Dan in that
God,
suit.
my that came out of some time traveling, because I mean that thing was horrendous. But either way, aside of all of that, all the press praising the Thorns, saying, I do want to say I feel that there's a little bit of hate from everybody around the league towards the Pride. I feel like every single player is hitting Barbara Banda from behind, and no one does absolutely nothing. I think the referees also let Banda just be completely, one somebody's gonna injure her, and then it's gonna be, all heads are off, all bets are off, at that point. But we're gonna be discussing all of that. But I was a little bit disappointed on the loss, indeed, because I felt the Pride, could have done a little better, and Portland just did their thing. I mean, it was a really good crowd. People were prepared for this game. And unfortunately, great performances by Shavoshi, Matt Crone debut. But we'll discuss all of that and more. But we'll move on.
Yeah, I think this one was a lot like the Washington Spirit loss at home, where the team, Portland are fairly good defensively, and Reyes had that nice moment in the box where she, pulled it across and got the goal. And then from there, they just, packed the box, and we were not able to really break them down and be, effective enough in the final third. And the chances we were getting on the break, we were just not finishing. It was overall like a frustrating game to watch the Pride. I think offensively in this one, just couldn't keep up. Well, not couldn't keep up, but just couldn't create that goal. So thanks, Luis, for putting that up. Yeah, like I said, Portland Thorns. Then we're going to talk NWSL, and final. We will finish out with the North Carolina Courage game. I want to say thank you to everybody who's here. Drop your comments. We appreciate you all and want to hear your opinions on this game. Luis, you talked about it a little bit. Let's talk about the lineup first, because this one had some surprises in it. We did predict that Oyane would get in there. We did
Yeah.
predict that Carson Pickett would get in there. That did happen. Not really in the positions that I expected or we expected. Carriabello got moved up to the left wing or left mid position. Carson Pickett put in at left back. I would have probably put them the other way around, but I think I did like the way that they were switching off from each other. At one point, one would go in front of the other, and then they're able to have that synchronicity. On the other side, Oyane got in at right back, starting there. Ali Watt kept her position at right wing. Ali Limos also got another start in this one. Haley Hansen back in at the center mid position as well. Zara Shavashi, like you were mentioned, Luis, that was the biggest surprise. No Kylie Nadanner next to Emily Sams, but Zara Shavashi getting the call up, or getting the start. I thought she played really well. I thought she had an excellent game. Um, her long balls that she was playing in that first half to Banda, whenever we get pressed by the Thorns, like the out ball was to Zara, and then she just hit a long ball up to Banda, and we try and knock it down and go from there. Which I like that out ball. I think that's a good way to get out of there. If Zara has that ability to play those long balls, then definitely use her. But I think also defensively, she was making good tackles. She had good positioning. I don't think she really put too many steps wrong all night, Louise. So a very mature performance, I think, from Zara in this one. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, look, she made her first NWSL start, playing as a defender in Orlando's back line. Like you said, Nadanner did not play in this game. She was praised by Coach Hines. She had a clutch save of a really bad Anna Morehouse goalkeeping right there. She really bailed her out. It was a key intervention. And then, she shows number one, I have to praise the front office for poaching these type of players, because these are players that are ready for NWSL competition coming from college. I mean, she killed it in Wake Forest. I mean, she was one of the best defenders in the nation. And not only we got a really great defender like Emily Sams that came from FSU, but now you have, your Penn State duo of Corey Dyke, Brie Martinez, you also trio, I will say, and also you have a Carrie Bello. But now you have Shiboshi that killed it with Wake Forest. She was one of the best players there. And it shows how poised she is for the spotlight. She's not afraid. And that reflects the trust that Seb has for her to do so great. And it just imagine her big potential she has, especially having really little minutes, prior to this game. Huge potential. I think today was a key game for her, and I'm so proud for her to get the start.
Yeah. Very surprising that Kylie. I don't know if she was dropped or injured, or did you hear anything on that,
I
Luis?
have not heard
Why?
anything, but I believe it's just, I
I
guess.
think Zara earned the spot for what
And
I mean. Not that Kylie's been playing bad at all. I don't think she's done anything really
I
wrong
think
this
it's just
season.
muscle
So
fatigue,
yeah, I mean, she is 32 years old,
you
right?
want you want Kylie for the long run. It's a long season, so
Yeah,
and
and
yeah,
Zara is performing at a high level.
yeah, and not
It
only
wasn't a
that,
real
it's just
step down.
look, the traveling to Portland, it's just, endurance wise, this is a game that it looked like you could give some of your starting lineup a little bit of a rest, because Portland wasn't coming too hot, but then again, I feel like, the Pride also, you know, they really play very physical, and their tactical approach. Portland's strategy was essentially to deny any sort of space for Banda and Marta to exploit transitions. And so, it's something that they executed well in this game. They usually, Orlando would execute very well, but also I do have to say, aside of Angelina and Corey, some of the substitutions didn't live up to the expectation from a lot of fans, according to some of the fans' reactions after the game. So I
Yeah,
don't.
we should let's look at the subs real quick before we move on and talk about those. Obviously, we haven't really fully discussed it, but Anna Morehouse taking a bad knock. They said that she went out for concussion, but everything seemed that it was her wrist that was bothering her.
Yeah, she was
So I
moving
don't
her
know if
wrist.
Yeah, I don't know if we just use the concussion sub so we could make another sub. Like she did get hit in the head as well at the same time, but on the broadcast and everybody was, the way she was holding her wrist, it seems like the wrist is the issue. So, um, Anna, I don't really think she was massively to blame on the first goal, the only goal in this game. I think she just couldn't really see what happened, and Reyes did it so quickly that she just didn't see the ball. But it never looks good when you don't see a keeper at least make a dive, and she looked, you know, a little bit stunned by that goal. And then later in the game, the 51st minute, she takes that knock, and then you've got Mac Crone coming in, Luis.
That
Mac of Maitland,
man,
born and raised right here in Orlando. McKinley Crone, or Mac as she's known, coming on for her NWSL debut. Of course, we saw her last year in the Summer Cup. She played a whole game then, but outside of that, we've never seen her for an NWSL game. She came on, saw the game out, obviously didn't concede anything, had a few saves, looked fine. We're probably going to have to see Mac again, I'm guessing, in the next game, unless Anna is really a minor thing. So I know some people have been calling for Mac to get the start based on Anna's performance. So not that it's coming because of that reason. It's coming because of an injury, but here is a chance for Mac Crone. Luis, you want to talk a little bit about Mac? I know you're a fan and we're fans, and we love a local player. I don't know what to call it when it's a female. We need because it
look.
would be local lad if it was men, but obviously that doesn't apply here.
No, she's. I have mad respect for Matt Crone. I think um, she was a listener and a follower of Loud and Proud. You know, before she got her break with the Pride. Actually, she made her regular season debut against Portland in a really hostile environment. She came in and she came very poised. I mean, um, it was a moment in which, this is where you need to have a really good solid substitution for your one of the top keepers in the NWSL, obviously Anna Morehouse. Whether you like it or not, Anna Morehouse is right now a goalkeeping staple name essentially. And her coming in and essentially very, kind of let's get to work attitude. Let's get, I'm here to, solve problems, not make problems. She kept a clean sheet for the remainder of the match. She made a save. She made another really big save in the 74th minute. Just her composure under the pressure was really, really impressive. And like you said, she's Maitland native. She
Yep.
even mentioned while she was in college, she mentioned that she wanted to play for the Pride. They asked her, where would you like to play? And she said, I would like to, it would be the national thing would be for me to play in the Orlando Pride. She played at the University of Alabama, and we already, she came from, kind of like the Drake song, started from the bottom, now she's there in a way,
Yeah.
because she was a preseason invitee, and I remember having a conversation with her
Yep.
off the record, of her telling me, hey, I got an invite, I'm so excited for the opportunity, and then she killed it, and now she's a huge part of the team, not just on the pitch but in training and off the pitch, and also the patience of waiting in line and not taking any shine out of Anna, and not creating this toxic competition between both of them.
Yeah.
That says a lot about her character. So,
Yeah.
Matt, kudos to Matt Crone. I think she's phenomenal, and she's definitely, if you're a young goalkeeper, and I know that there's been tryouts for some of the Pride academies, that are opening up. If you're a young goalkeeper, that Matt Crone right there is the path. She's comes from college, got her break to get a a
Yeah.
tryout with the Pride, and now look, she's shining against Portland Thorns.
I mean, she had to do it through the college system. The idea is that if this was,
Yep.
5-10 years from now, Mac would just stay with the club the whole time and would
Hmm.
be going through that youth system. So, very excited for her to have this opportunity and this shot. I think she's very humble. I think, everything you said is true, Luis. I encourage everyone to go and look at the press conference that got put up yesterday, post game from Portland, and Mac, says that some really great things. She's there for the team. She's really, very happy to represent Orlando, and I think it gives you a sense of who she is as a person. So go check that out. Corey Dyke came on in the 68th minute for Oyane. I think that's fine. I don't really have an issue with that one. I think some people were like, why is Viviana coming on?
Yeah.
There's questions around that. Angelina came on but went to the left wing. I didn't like that. I got to say, I think we've talked about that.
More 10.
I don't think she's effectual on the left wing. Priska came on, and I didn't see much from Priska. Did you in this game? I think
Be honest with
Grace
you,
came on and affected the game
it's
more than Priska in this one.
Grace had a shot that is just, it was a bad shot. It was one of those shots that I don't know what she was trying to do, but that's it.
Yeah.
And Priska Chilufya, I mean, she was a phenom in Mexico. I want to see that edge. I want to see that physicality. There's no way, and I'm saying this with all due respect, there's no way somebody that is physically less imposing than you takes away the ball away from you, especially when you're trying to get, it's like you going into a physical battle with somebody, and you're taller, you're faster, you're stronger, but it seems like she's doubting herself into physically putting her body, to hold off or to get the ball, so we need to see more of that Chilufya that was a dominant force in MX. That's one of the reasons why she's in the Pride. So
Yeah.
I think when I said that the subs didn't make an impact, I'm not talking so much about Angelina and Corey, because we know what they can give us, and they
Right.
always deliver. I'm expecting more of, okay, if Angelina's going to be on the wing and Priska's going to be on the other wing, Priska needs to also, you know what I mean? There's going to be a sense of responsibility as well
Yeah.
on the subs that are coming in. So yeah, that's my assessment there. Unfortunately, hopefully with Priska, she gets a turnaround and we could see her true potential, because she's a phenomenal player.
I think in this one, it just lacked in the attack in general, Luis. I think a few things. One, I felt Barbara was kind of on an island a lot of the time. Like she was just out there getting on the end of balls, running, without enough support around her. I think that was not great. The other thing I noted in this game was I think Marta really struggled. I think every time the ball came into her, she would have Sam Coffey immediately on her, and she just wasn't able to get away. I think they just did a very good job guarding Marta, being around Marta, not letting Marta affect the game, get into the game, play the way that she wanted to play. And I think that was growing frustrations for her. But I also think that maybe I don't want to say she's slowing down, because I said that last year, and then she cooked again, right? So but I definitely noticed that she's losing the 50-50s or the 1v1s more often, and that was the theme in this game. So I think between Marta not really getting on the ball and affecting the game, Banda being a little bit isolated, the wingers not really being effectual. I think Ali Watt in this one, Luis, she had the best chances. She had that
Yeah.
one chance. Actually, I have it right here. I can show you on SufferScore. You can see right here. This one is this one here. Ali Watt on a fast break, the right foot. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Got up the field and just didn't have a good enough shot, in my opinion. I think it was too weak, too easy for the opposing goalkeeper to save. And then there was another one where she had a header in the box and she just kind of headed it down into the ground. Wasn't clinical enough. I think when we don't have that many chances and they fall to whoever it is, they have to have a good shot on goal, especially when you have an open situation like that, when Portland is so condensed that when we do manage to draw them out and then we counter attack and we have that open attack and we're able to, get in behind them or have enough space to really, take a shot without 5 players being in front of them, which was the case of most of this game, you have to take those chances. And Allie had the 2 best chances and just wasn't able to be clinical enough to put them away. I think Barbara also was missing at times and wasn't able to, test the goalkeeper enough. In this one for me, I think, I'll have to find the stat here, but I believe it was something like, let's see, how many shots on target? We had only 4 shots on target
Yeah.
all game, 11 total shots. Portland outshot us and, they were playing the defensive game and they had more shots on target than us. They were packing the box and blocking a lot of what we were trying to do. And we just weren't able to pick them apart, break them down, weren't able to move the ball around fast enough, in my opinion, and be creative enough to get quality chances. It was a lot of kind of half chances. And when we did get those good quality chances, we did not test the goalkeeper, in my opinion, well enough. So, is this starting to become a bit of a trend, Luis? Is our attack struggling at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I feel teams are getting look, on one side people are saying let's stop the hate on Barbara Banda when it comes to what people evil people are saying regarding Banda, and I'm not going to mention it, but you know what I'm talking about if you're listening and you're watching. But now there's this whole and I'm talking about pundits, I'm talking about just people I don't know what's up with the they're just obsessed with just to see the pride go back to what it used to be. It feels like people got more more offended or shocked that Kansas City lost and Pride lost. People were actually cheering for the Pride to lose. And to me that also could affect mentally some players. I mean, we have a young core of players. It doesn't happen very often in a lot of teams, but that could also play a factor. Also, the fact that everybody, it just seems that every game we play, it's everybody trying to double hold Marta, double hold Barbara Banda, and they kind of tactically, the players that are on the attacking third are not scoring goals. So we are they're limiting defensively. This is what Portland did. They limited defensively or our ability to create scoring opportunities. The high press and the double teaming tactics that Portland had. This is not the first time we suffer this. A lot of teams are copying that. And it started from last season, especially, those games that we lost after we clinched the shield. I think people are trying to find how to beat Orlando tactically, and I think we need to start becoming that unpredictable team again. But last season we had subs and starting 11 highly scoring goals and delivering because of the unpredictability of Barbara Banda. Now there's a whole full year almost of tape on Barbara Banda. Also, there's a whole full year of tape on Sepp Hines. And so it just seems that the inability to convert after holding the ball so long, which we used to hold the ball a lot last season and able to convert, now they're taking away our generators. Angelina's being used on the wing because Summers is not it's injured, and Chalufia coming off the Ali Wad, maybe having good balls here and there, but sometimes she has those missed chances, like you said. So there's not a lot of consistency on our wings like it used to be before. So typically, when last season everybody was concentrated in Banda and trying to mark her, the wings will deliver, and maybe there was a goal from Julie Doyle or up the rebound. We're not getting that anymore. So I think we need to go back to them really focusing on finishing the attacking play, finding a way. Okay, you're holding off Banda, you're holding off Marta. Okay, what can I do to create a play and be a scoring, do having scoring opportunities, So I feel like they're failing in that, but I think they'll get it together. Hopefully this game taught them that they need to be a little bit more creative and deliver. But we have the people, John. I mean, it's not like we don't have depth. I think we have plenty of depth. It's just that they need to come in with more of an edge. You know what I mean? I think we lost a little bit of our edge.
I also think that this midfield change around is not working, in my opinion. I think when Marta is struggling and can't create, last season we had Angelina slightly behind her in the D mid position, being that box to box, who was then able to pick up the ball and play when Marta was being blocked and being covered all the time. And I just don't see that from Ali Limos. I'm a big fan of hers. I think she's got a bright future, but she's had some starts in the last few games, and I don't think she's really stepped up to the mark. I think she has gone missing at times in the midfield, and I think we tend to not hold the ball as well this year as we did last year in that central mid. Like, we need Haley McCutcheon in there, and I think we need Angelina next to her or someone else. Morgan Gautrat was doing a great job at that early in the season, right? And she's not there anymore. So I feel like the game in the midfield, when we can retain possession and pass side to side and pick out our attacks, isn't really there right now for me. I think we're more like long balls up to Barbara all the time, and she's running onto it, or long balls up to Ali, and then they're kind of like isolated and not connecting and not close enough to each other and not not central enough. I think we're too spread out in our attack, and the center attacking mid, like usually Marta, is too far away from the wingers, and we're not getting any kind of intricate play in and around the box. I think it's a little bit more direct from us this year, which can work, but sometimes it feels to me like every time the plan is hit it up to Barbara and see if she can get on the end of it. And I think it's becoming a little bit too predictable in a game like this, where Barbara was perhaps a little bit off her game. I don't want to think she had a bad game, but she didn't take her chances. What's the second game plan after that? You know what I mean? Like, I think we need to have other players, like you said, Louise, that we can rely on when Barbara is not performing or Marta is not performing. Who is stepping up in those moments? Who is going like, okay, sub me in, I'll be the 10. I think the Marta one is crucial for me. I said it a lot last year, and I said it a lot this year. Who is taking over in that next person to be the number 10 creative role for us? Who is Marta's replacement, right? Who is that person going to be? And I think you needed to bring that person in this game, and I don't know who it is right now.
To me, is Angelina, naturally.
I think it should be too.
Yeah, I think it's Angelina. I mean, we thought at some point Summer, but I feel Summer still, she's a very young, talented player, but she's been doing really good also on the left side. So I mean, but right now, who's poised to take that role? I think it's Angelina. Now, I feel more of the signings that I feel like the signings, they need to show up right now more. I mean, I know, I understand that it takes time to gel and things like that, but Grace Chanda, she's coming back. I could totally understand her. It was a tough injury. Chalufia as well. You know, she needs to shine. You know, she needs to have that immediate impact. The last season, maybe Ali Watt had, or Julie Doyle had. You know, in that level. You know, so I think that's a little bit of what we're looking for here. Now, I do agree with you that we need a little bit more of consistency in the mid. You know, I know that rotation is great, but you know, for example, like you said, some games, you know, Morgan and Haley. Other games, Morgan and Angelina. You know, sorry, Haley and Angelina. You know, but
Yeah.
Haley's been present in almost every single game, and it seems that she's a very intricate player in the team that we
Yeah.
cannot really. She can have a day off. You know, it seems like. You know,
I really feel like Angelina on the left wing is just I don't think it's I don't think it's for her. I think she can do a job there. I just don't think the way that we play, she is getting higher enough up the field. I feel like she's so deep on that left side and is like right footed, so she's like involved in the build up and is cutting in. And I feel like when she is on that left, we we're just not really using the full length of it the same way. So I really want to see her return to the D mid. You want to read this comment?
yeah, LM Orlando, thank you so much. It says definitely starting to feel Doyle and Gates missing in action. Rafa as well, but our defense is stacked regardless. Thank you, LM. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, Julie would have been great to bring on this game. Summer would have been great. I think Summer is another candidate to bring on in that 10 position when Marta's not having the best game. So we
It's
do
because
miss them, but we like we said, we got plenty of other assets. We need some people to step up in the attack in the midfields who aren't Barbara and Marta.
no, but it seems like, you know, like if you think about it, when Julie and even Summer will come in as a sub, I mean, it was a
Yeah.
natural spark, a
Yeah.
willingness of,
Julie would instantly
yeah,
change the game, instantly have an impact.
right, a will, just a willingness of creating something out of nothing. But with all due respect, and I know this, it takes sometimes times for several players, even if it's different leagues. But I mean, Chalufia, I feel the MX is an inferior league than the NWSL,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
she was a force to be reckoned with in Mexico, per my colleagues. To the point that, remember when we were saying when she first got signed, we were so excited. We're like, dude, like if Banda wants to take a day off, it's okay because we got Priska. Like, you know, we got Priska, you know, and we need to see that Priska. That Priska needs to show up now because people are trying to, you know, as you see, I mean, everybody's trying to bully Barbara, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I see some people saying that they feel like our attack is really missing Adriana. I don't think
I
that's
don't
I
see
think
it.
Adriana was just one attacking piece that
Yeah.
was really not even playing that well last year. She had a few bright moments, but overall was not that great. So I don't think it's got to do with that. I think the attack in the midfield is just really not clicking right now. Like we've talked about all episode, they've got to figure out how to create more chances and also be more clinical in that final third. And then as soon as we start doing that, Luis, like we created enough to win this game 2-1, and we could have won it 2-1. We just not putting the ball in the back of the net every week. I mean, look at the Angel City game with that 20 minutes, right? That is what we want to see. We want to see that aggression in the final third. We want to see that, taking the chances. And they didn't do it in the Angel City game, most of it, until they came alive, and then everything changed. So this one I was kind of hoping for that moment of like, oh, okay, now we're gonna get one and then we'll get another. And it just sadly didn't come for the Pride. And I think a lot of it also has to do with another point I want to talk about, is the ref, Nabil Ben Salah. Dude was so whistle happy. It killed the vibe of the game. Like
Horrible.
it was so boring because
Disgusting.
I mean, I know there were some injuries. I know there was some stoppages, but dude was just blowing his whistle for everything. I mean, he called 36 fouls. and issued 2 yellow cards. Now, I'm all for calling a foul, but what you're supposed to do as a referee is be in control of the game. So if there's a lot of fouls, and Sam Coffey, by the way, she did play really well, but she has probably like 5 or 6 of these on her own. And if it's consistently happening, foul after foul from the same player, you're supposed to warn them. You're supposed to give them a yellow early enough in the game to discourage them from continuing to keep doing it. But this guy just called every foul and didn't actually take control of the game and stop players from continuously fouling, didn't give them a yellow early enough to discourage them from fouling, didn't pull them over to the side. And this is something that really good referees do, Luis, and you see it and I see it, and we don't ever see it in the USA, but we should see it, is pull a player to the side, have a conversation with them, be like, look, I see what you're doing. You fouled Banda there. You fouled Banda there. If you do it again, I'm going to give you a yellow. If you do it again after that, I'm going to send you off. Yep. That's what a great referee will do. They will not issue, and there was a record last week that was like 40 fouls. I don't know if it's the same guy, but this is a thing in NWSL of calling all the fouls, but not actually, enforcing the rules of the game and not actually being like, okay, you need to stop doing that. At some point, you've got to give out a yellow, maybe even a red. I just think that you can't run games like this. It makes extremely boring viewing. Either let some stuff go or be a hard ass, because whatever that was that we watched on Saturday, Luis, made me want to pull my eyes out, because every 2 seconds he blew that whistle for sometimes nothing, literally nothing fouls. And the players on both sides were like, dude, I didn't do anything. And so the players are frustrated. The fans are frustrated. The only guy that's happy is Nabil, who just loves blowing that whistle.
No, honestly,
that was my ref rant. Sorry, I got very frustrated.
Look, there's just 36 fouls, like you said. It was overly strict officiating. I feel like it disrupted the game's flow, like you said. I do want to say there wasn't a lot of complaint from a lot of the pundits from the league, like a lot of the attacking thirds of the world, the Indivisa outlets, to call out these egregious errors. Usually when there refs errors towards Gotham or towards KC or towards Washington, they're all like, oh my God, freaking out, So, but against the Pride, it's like, good for them, they deserve it, type of thing, And like you said, I felt like 36 fouls with 2 yellow cards. It was a close, contested, physical game indeed. But it's just too much, man.
Yeah.
It's just.
And between that and everything else, it's like, and they gave us 11 minutes stoppage time.
Yeah,
that was daylight robbery, bro. Like, Anna Morehouse was down for at least 5 or 6 minutes. Then there was other players that just took a knee at times and went down. There was the physio came on about 4 times. We had subs from both teams. We used every single one of our subs. That's like 4 minutes on its own. So I don't understand how you have 11 minutes. It should have been like 20 minutes. The second half, nothing happened for the first 20 minutes of the second half because there were so many stoppages. So I feel like we were sold a bum deal on how many minutes we actually had at the end of the game and actually had to play. And I think that didn't help our attack as well. I will give the Pride, I feel like that should be part of it. Is not that these are excuses, but factors at play here. The long trip, the turf of the baseball field at Portland Stadium, which is not fun to play on. And then the ref just constantly making the game flow, essentially just stop start all the time, where you don't have any rhythm. Neither team had any rhythm. The game had no rhythm. So I think those factors have to be accounted for, but we still should have won. We still should have scored. So they're not excuses. They're just things that were at play here. The long travel being a big factor there that we shouldn't underestimate how much impact that has going all the way to Portland, all the way to Seattle. It is a lot.
Yeah, it just seems that, there were no major controversies that were reported from any of the outlets. For a lot of the outlets,
No.
for a lot of the people that are not Orlando Pride fans, it seems that 36 fouls is okay. You know?
I just think that's like I said. I mean, there's the game, the one that ended last week, Portland were in, which was that 3-3. That had like 40 something fouls in it and 3 penalties. Like, I mean, either either you need to call the fouls and enforce the cards and stop the fouls from happening, or you need to let some stuff go because it can't be call every tiny little thing all the time with no repercussions. It
No,
makes a very boring game.
yeah, I do want to say that, Anna Morehouse got a shin to the head and a boot to her hand.
Shin to her
So,
head and boot to her hand. Yeah.
yeah. So, and
So
obviously,
she
I do want
came
to
out
say
for
that,
concussion, but also her wrist, right?
yeah, it seems it was like the boot hit her hand. The player kind of like lightly stepped on her hand. So, they're just trying to, hopefully, she'll be back on the next game, we'll see. But Matt Crone was there, but, I do want to get back and say, it's just, um, it was a ref that just, it looked like he wanted a Portland to win, in my opinion. Just seemed to me that type of ref.
But anyway, we're gonna move on. We should all move on from Portland. You want to read some comments, Luis?
Of all saw words, ref belongs on that street in downtown Orlando. There you go. Reminded me of that time Rapino got in trouble for touching the ref's FIFA arm patch and asking if it was real. That's funny.
That seems like the kind of thing that would
Yeah.
happen. Alrighty, Luis. Let's quickly review the NWSL weekend. If you did not see, we had round 7 of NWSL, and in that, Racing Louisville beat Houston Dash on Friday night. Angel City got a huge dub over Washington, who have now lost 2 in a row after beating us. 4-3, Washington beat them. Sorry, Angel City beat Washington in their house. Go watch the highlights of that one. I watched part of that game live. If there's not a better advertisement, in my opinion, for NWSL, anybody who says women's soccer is boring, go watch the highlights of that game because it was an epic slog. And Washington thought they crawled it back and with 3-3. And then to watch Angel City get the winner in their house was, put a smile on my face, I got to say, after what they've done to us. But epic game there. And then Kansas City. I watched this one late night in bed on Friday. Lost to the Rain in their house, just similar to us. Kansas City making that Northwest trip, couldn't get the dub over the Rain. Limby and Dolo with the goal, and then Kansas City just, throwing everything at it, but not a lot of quality. Probably a very similar situation to what Orlando Pride just faced against Portland. Then North Carolina Courage getting that dub on the road. They look like they've finally figured it out and come alive against Utah Royals, who are still struggling. 0-0 between Gotham and Chicago. Not much to report there, but surprising that Gotham couldn't get a goal after how well they've been performing. Astaire, especially, is tearing up the league goal scorer right now. But that one was a 0-0. Then San Diego versus Bay FC. This was an epic Sunday night slog where San Diego stole it in the last. Sorry, not stole it. I mean, they deserved to win it, but that was an exciting end to the weekend, Luis. And what that has done has really meant that the top of the table has got some shakeup. Washington have fallen all the way down to sixth, Luis, with their two losses that they had more recently, as well as one they picked up earlier in the season. So what we would consider one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the league has fallen down. Of course, we lost. Kansas City lost. All of that has created more parity. The San Diego Wave have really improved this year and are growing into there's several teams that are trying to become one of the top teams in the league. San Diego Wave are in that conversation. Portland Thorns are trying to get up there in the conversation as well. Angel City, I think 8th where they are does not reflect, I believe, how much they are improved this year. We saw that when they played us last week. The Reign are doing a little bit better. North Carolina are gonna improve or are improving. So the parity is real. The top teams have dropped off a little bit, and everything's getting a little bit tighter in the playoff situation. Um, Luis, your thoughts on the NWSL, any of the games or the table, anything you want to discuss league wide? Oh, you're muted, buddy.
I think San Diego Wave, after a really bad 2024 season, they finished last. They're rebounding, like you said, with the coach Adebol, Adriana Leon becoming a force, and the retention of really core players is very similar to what happened to the Pride. They're regaining some of their 2023 form when they were right up top of the league. And so they have an improved coaching structure that is allowing them to be up on there. North Carolina Courage, which is actually the team we're going to be facing very soon. Jaden Shaw, she was a really big acquisition for them. A 3-2 win over Kansas. That's great. Ashley Sanchez as well. Their attacking potential is on the up and up right now. And they have this attractiveness to poach good talent as well. So, again, that to me, it's why they're rising as well. And, Portland Thorns, I think defensively, we know how scrappy they could be, and they showed it against the Pride. So now when it comes to Washington, with Washington, unfortunately, they are a team that they have good talent, but sometimes you cannot live of just mouthing off, man. you just can't. You gotta put it on the pitch. And people, like I said, this is one of the most competitive leagues in women's sports.
Yeah,
And
the parity on display for
you
sure.
have to reinvent yourself all the time. That's why Orlando right now, Seb is gonna try to find reinvention right now
Yeah,
again.
you got to mix up the formula.
Yeah, because Orlando right now, yeah, we lost against Portland. Portland played defensively very well. We need to get up there. We need to aim to be number 1 or at least number 2. That's the lowest we could go now. So, and I know that the players know that. They just gotta put it into paper.
And
Yep.
as we look ahead, Luis, we'll talk about North Carolina Courage in a minute, but I just want to look ahead of that because
Yeah,
who comes up, who's coming into town next after this week? Next week, we have Kansas City. So 1 versus 2. We are literally tied at the top of the table still because we've got the same results. So this is 2 weeks in a row that we have the exact same record. They're only ahead of us in the table due to yellow cards. And so this is a big matchup, we know. So we got to figure it out this weekend so that we're ready for the top 1-2 matchup next weekend. Then after that, away at Utah Royals, hopefully, a place where I'm not going to say an easier game, but a game that nowhere near as challenging as playing Kansas City, in my opinion. And then home against Houston. Morgan's going to play her husband, so that's going to be interesting to see the dynamics of Mr. Gautreau coming into town to play against his wife and Orlando Pride. And then Bay FC versus Orlando Pride as we're away at Bay, away again to Racing Louisville. And then we have that big break, Louise, for the summer. So really, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games before we have our summer break. Let's hope we can get some wins here. If I was to say for you, from the possible 18 points available here, how many do you think Orlando Pride can get in these next 6 games before the summer break?
Because of the aspirations, like one draw and maybe 1 or 2 draws and the rest wins. I mean, for the aspirations to remain on top. I mean, the Pride want to
for us
win.
to stay where we think we should be.
Correct, because when that reset button hits and we have that break, you have to understand players are gonna hopefully maintain themselves still fit. Some of them may go on vacation somewhere, may go on international duty. So there's gonna be a reset button there, right? And we need to use that break to kind of not unwind, but to kind of relax those muscles, take it lightly, not work on the off, because then the rest of the league returns and we need to continue to have that momentum. So I feel it's time now. Look, if Orlando comfortably or scrappy wins against the Courage and Kansas coming up, they're really setting themselves up for 2 back-to-back wins against the Royals and the Houston, because they are inferior, with all due respect, inferior competition.
Yeah. I mean, that Royals, Houston, Bay FC, Racing Louisville, that's a nice run of games. We can definitely pick up some wins.
We can pick up a lot of wins.
I should say we should be winning all 4 of those.
Yeah.
And then maybe a couple of draws. Like, I would not turn my nose up at a draw away at North Carolina. Everybody knows it's difficult to go there and get a result. And a draw against Kansas City would be absolutely nothing to be upset about at all. So, I think the main thing, though, is we don't want to see more losses. I think if we do start to lose to, other teams, better teams, worse teams, it doesn't matter. I think the confidence could start to go, and I don't want it to happen. I think this team just needs to figure out a few things on the offensive side, and then we'll be able to keep flowing. Like you said, Luis, you just got to shake up the formula. Everybody's got the tape. Everybody knows what we're doing. We got to shake it up a little bit, throw some new things in there, see what works, maybe change some players around, and go from there. Right. Let's talk all about North Carolina Courage. Last game, or last time we played them, I could say. Let's look at the comparison here. I'll give you. So 7 matches played from both of us, of course. We have 14 goals scored to their 8. We have conceded only 5 to their 9. We have 6 assists to their 4. They did not start the season well at all, Luis. As you can see here, lost to this, rough start to the season when you open against Spirit and KC, but 2 losses, then a draw to Louisville, then they lost to the Reign, draw with Portland, lost to Gotham, lost to Bay FC, and then more recently, they managed to figure it out. They got a win against Kansas City, which was a big home win for them. I think it was at Kansas City, that one. Let's see. It was at home for them. So a big home win against Kansas City. And then last week, they got like we said, 2-0 away win against Utah Royals. Honorable mentions, but their lineup, players we need to really, look out for. Definitely Ashley Sanchez. Denise O'Sullivan is very good, I think. Roush always causes us problems. Riley Jackson. I mean, they've definitely got a good squad, Luis. Like you said before, their big new signing, Jaden Shaw, actually was on the bench. He came off the bench for this one. Hasn't really been working out, so they benched her. Danny Weatherholt's still there, ex-Pride. Shout out to Danny. Always loved her as a Pride player. So I think, Luis, it's going to be a challenge. I think we have to perform well. Similar to the Portland Thorns, I don't think they are. This team is not, in my opinion, right now a top 3 team, but they are similar to Portland or Seattle, where they're most likely a playoff team that's pushing to get better. Your thoughts on North Carolina Courage and what they're bringing?
Yeah, I mean, the Courage historically has hold the upper hand on the Pride. This match is critical for both teams. The Pride is going to try to aim to solidify their position right up top, and the Courage is going to want to stay up there right behind them, try to maintain their playoff contention. So, you know, definitely it's going to be a tactical battle. I think North Carolina has a great coach, has a very tactical minded coach. And I feel like Sep here needs to make sure that, you know, the opportunities the Pride gets, essentially make it happen and finish them off. Um, with that, again, Barbara Banda, leading the NWSL last season for goal creations. This season is not being too hot. So we need to see her coming up. Haley McCutcheon again in the starting lineup. I think that'll be intricate for them to, for the Pride to try to get the win. But I feel like the Pride needs to go back to that high pressing transition based attack that was led at some point by Banda and Adriana last season. But here we need to see Ali or Priska, and the Courage is going to try to control possession through, some other players and try to exploit, the counters, right? And in that scenario, we have the back line covered. So what we saw with Portland is they play so aggressively that they force the Pride to lose the ball easy, and then they control the pace of the game. And so, and even though Portland couldn't really do much with some of the chances they had, they only scored 1 goal on us. I feel like North Carolina, they have better players. And so we need to be very careful on how Sab is going to put the team together for this game, John.
Yeah, North Carolina, traditionally a very good defensive outfit. They've Kaylee Kurtz, Murphy in goal. We've got to break them down. If they sit deep and they go, oh, we just watched that game you guys played against Portland. We know if we pack the box and make it difficult for you, you're not going to, break us down, and then we'll hit you on the counter. I don't know if they want to play that negatively at home, but that could happen. I think we got to just show that quality. If they play 3 center backs like they're talking about here, it looks like they've been playing a 5 back. That's another player in that position in the box to kind of be in the way, interrupt us. Mark Banda, Mark Marta. It's going to be an issue. We're going to have to break them down. We're going to have to stretch them, do all those things, or else we're going to end up in the same situation as Portland. And I think we should go through the lineup, Luis, because I think we both of us will have different ideas, perhaps, about what we think Orlando Pride should do with the lineup for this game. As discussed before, I think we want to see some changes, perhaps. I think we saw a few changes against Portland, but I don't think that necessarily helped us. You know what I mean? I think in some ways I would want to say, okay, maybe that didn't work. Let's try something else.
Yeah, sure. Let me take a look here.
Do we think? I think the first question is we're not really sure about Anna. I think that's very up in the air right now, but I think being a goalkeeper with a wrist injury, I would be surprised, almost shocked if she was ready to go again, unless it was something really, minor that she's already gotten over. I think more likely they're going to play it safe and go with Mac in this one. What do you think?
Yeah. Look, depending on how she's doing, I think. Um, I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard absolutely anything about Anna, but let's go for Macron just to be safe. Um, I think if Anna feels like she's up to the task, she's gonna start. But also Seb may have a knock, and then it's just Macron. You know what I mean? So we'll just go for what's working right now, which is Mac, and then I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah, I think Mac. And then center backs. Do you
Well,
think Zara starts again?
no, I think it's gonna be Sam's and
Do you think Kylie's back in?
Kylie. I think.
Yep. I mean, it could just be
Um,
they're resting her for one game.
yeah, I think Kylie's back because North Carolina. It is better than Portland, and this is a must-win game. I mean, this is a game in which you're preparing yourself. I mean, you're playing against two top contenders for the championship right now. I mean, I think North Carolina is hot. Kansas also, they are the league's darling. They're gonna have all the coverage. So these next two games are kind of like telling the players, okay, we are the Orlando Pride. We want to win this again. And these are the two games that are going to be the biggest tests for the first half of the season, at least for me.
Yeah, I think so.
Who's going to be your right back?
My right back, I would go for
Corey
I think
or Ohaine?
Oyane again. Yep.
Ohaine, okay.
Oyane.
Ohaine, sorry,
That's all right.
I don't know how to pronounce her name.
It's a hard one. Oyane, yeah.
Carrie,
And then I think Carrie at left back. Yep.
yeah. Mm,
I would go for Angelina and Haley in the D mids. I mean, I think this is more our preference right now as opposed to what Head Seb has shown this season, what he's going to do. But he has been changing it up, so maybe he'll. This is really more like we had last year. I think that's kind of what we want to see is us
yeah,
go back to a little bit of what we did last year in the midfield. You're gonna put Ali again on the right wing.
yeah. I think Ali Watt and right here.
I don't think Ali's performing particularly well, but no one else is performing
Well,
particularly
I mean, she's
well in that
performing.
spot.
She's performing better than Priska, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like the wings are, probably our weakest game at the moment. And then left wing, I think it's a toss up here. I would like to see Carson Pickett. I think last game they did that. So maybe it would be Carey at left wing and Carson at left back, but they interchange a lot. So I don't think it matters too much which way you do that. Anyone else you would potentially put at the left wing spot?
Who else is available? I mean, we have.
I don't think Summer or Julie will be back. I'd be
Yeah,
shocked if they are, but maybe.
yeah. So we are limited there. So I will
Definitely
go.
not be back ready to start, right? I
I'll
don't
go.
think.
I'll go Carson. I will go with what you said. So it'll be Carson here, Carey up top. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think this
which
is.
is which is almost the same as last game, except from Angelina in the D mid instead of Ali Limos and
Yeah,
Zara instead of Kylie.
and then up here, obviously Barbara Banda. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I think
think to me, this is the best squad. Macron up top, Oyane, Sams, Kylie Nadaner, Carson. We have Haley and Angelina as your midfield. Ali Watt on the right, Carrie Abello on the left. As your number 10, Marta, and right up top, Barbara Banda.
Yeah,
Now, LM Orlando says Esther leading the Golden Boot and Chawinga sitting at 3 right now. This season is doing different things compared to last year.
for sure. I think last year there was the dominance of us and Kansas City, and everyone was trying to keep up with that. I think this year it's already shown that the top teams can drop some points. Everyone's going to beat everybody at some
No one's
point.
undefeated. Yep.
No one's undefeated. We got to make sure that we stay up there, right? We got to stay relevant. We don't want to start getting lost in the shuffle of the lower parts of the league. We definitely want to. I think we're a playoff team, regardless of what happens this year, Luis. I would be stunned if we don't make the playoffs. But I think the question is, are we still a top 4 team after this 6 weeks? Like, let's get to the summer break and see where we're at then. But I believe right now we're just, having a few stumbles, a few bumps in the road, but this team is still extremely good. And I still believe that we're going to be a top 4 team come the end of the year.
Yeah, I do believe too. I believe the same thing you mentioned. I would like to see more of that edge that took us to the promised land last year.
Yeah.
The substitutions need to make an immediate impact, and I need to see more consistency in the mid. Like you said, I think Carey as your left wing will be phenomenal. I think Carson is on a great level right now. And then you also have the off season, right? I mean, you also have the break, which we could poach a couple more players. You never know. You also
Yeah. I
have
mean,
other options too, like Amanda Allen. You have Amanda Allen. You have but hopefully
I
we
think
see Grace Chandish shining as well.
the summer window is really interesting because obviously all the European teams are going to be off. So they're, I don't know what's going to happen in that summer window, but I would love to see us play some friendlies. I'd love to be able to go to some of those friendlies and watch us play, like maybe some USL teams, maybe some,
I would
English
love to see
teams,
and
maybe a Brazilian team. We talked a lot about that, but also I think there's the transfer window and everything that's going to happen potentially, European players moving over here, some of our players perhaps moving to Europe. It could happen. Um, that's really when all of those deals are
if
made for them. So, there is a potential that we could do some trades in the summer as well.
yeah, I mean, if we could poach a immediate impact, I mean, again, I want to give the benefit of the doubt again to Chalufia. I haven't lost hope yet. We need to see her explode against North Carolina and against, because the unpredictability of Chalufia, no one has seen it yet. So it'll be good to see her perform well. But if we don't see it, this is a long season, guys. And if Orlando has the aspirations, you need to make changes. You need a
Yeah.
left winger that could play both flanks. You need a winger that could play both flanks. That it's a top level winger.
I
I'm not
mean,
gonna say like an Adriana, but on the level of like it's a
yeah.
player it's a top player.
Like,
And I
who's
know we
playing
can poach
striker if Barbara gets injured right now?
Chalufia.
Probably Shalufia, but I just think too many of our goals are tied to Barbara Banda. And
Yeah.
like, I think she's great, an incredible player. Give her all the props, but we can't be relying only on Barbara. It's like when we relied solely on Marta. We just can't do that. We can't be a team that needs one player to function. And I think right now, if you took Barbara out there, I think our goals would dry up even more, right? So we've got to find other players that can contribute, whether that's wingers, D mids, attacking mids, strikers, all the defenders. Doesn't matter where the goals are coming from. If Oyane is getting up the right side and putting them in the net, that works too as a tactic. That's fine, but we need to see the quality from other places in the field that isn't just Barbara, Marta, and those two, because too often they're getting shut out and we're getting shut out because of that. So, yeah, the Orlando Pride, a bump in the road, but we feel like this is a lineup that we can support. Goes out there, hopefully gets a dub in North Carolina, and everything's back on track, Luis.
Of all sad words, LMAO. I love that San Diego scammed their way ahead of the teams who are on an extra game, traveling to the PNW as a PITA.
Is a
There you go.
PIT. I don't know that one, but it's probably something rude. It's an acronym for something that I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Is
I
it
don't know.
pita? It's not a pita like a
Pita
food.
pita bread.
I don't think it's a pita bread.
I don't know.
Yo,
You
shout
know,
out to anybody who remembers the pita pit down on Orange Avenue.
oh, right here.
There you go. You're an OG if you used to
And
go to the
I'm an
pita pit
OG.
on
I'm
Orange
an OG.
Avenue.
The pita pit. Yeah,
That was the spot back in lunch
that was
back
the
in the day.
spot. The
Yeah.
the social used to be there,
Yeah.
close by. I used to go
Yeah.
to concerts at the social, and then right on Pine there used to be a rock bar called Back Booth. Now it's another club.
Back
I used
booth,
to go
man.
to Back Booth all the time. One of my friends
Yeah.
in college used to be a bartender there, and I
Yeah.
used to go a lot of the shows for free.
They have nickel beer night and all that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, they go open mic beer. They had a
Yeah.
free beer night. Yeah,
We're showing our age here, Luis.
yeah.
Of all sad words says PETA stands for pain in the behind. Okay. Well, I don't think it's
Okay. Oh,
behind.
got it.
I think they PG-13 that for us.
There you
But
go.
yeah, I get what PETA is now. Okay.
Yes, we need to be able to depend on a variety of people for goals. I agree because people are, and again, stop the hate, man, on Barbara Banda, guys. Like this is ridiculous. Like every single, it's like three players go towards Banda,
Yeah.
But
Well,
we need to be able to have a solution for them overpowering Banda.
for sure. And look, I think anybody who's like saying this Pride team is bad or not good or being extra critical of them, like we've done in this episode, there's definitely some things that they can improve on. There's some analysis you could say about this parts of the game, but overall, we're still a very good team. And don't forget, this is the team that won the double last year. So I think there needs to be a little bit of, logic and a little bit of like, you can't throw a team under the bus that's lost 2 games and is at second at the table. Yes, it was very frustrating to watch that result against Portland. It was a frustrating game to watch. I understand that, but the emotional reaction of, Orlando Pride are bad and this team sucks, I think is misplaced and wrong and unnecessary.
Yeah.
Clearly, we're just not performing as well as we can right now. And you just got to have a little faith in Seb and the players that they know what they're doing and they're going to turn it around, which I have no doubts about.
That's right. Yeah. We have PETA. So, yeah, she wrote that. Pain in the behind. Yeah. There you go.
I think that's everything for us on our show today, Luis. I want to say thank you to everybody who is listening. If you are not subscribed on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to Loud and Proud Orlando on our YouTube channel. I know a lot of people watch the show but aren't subscribed there. So please go ahead and do that and hit the bell icon if you want to get those notifications anytime
please.
we drop a video. Of course, we've got press conferences, shorts coming out throughout the week on all of the social media. So you can like, comment, and share on X and Facebook, Blue Sky, YouTube, TikTok. We are also now on Goals TV. So if you don't know what Goals TV is, go ahead and check that out. They are a great space where all of the soccer has been placed. So they do have a show all about NWSL called the NWSL Cleat Beat on Goals TV. So go check out that if you want to get some NWSL news as well, a weekly show there. And finally, of course, if you've not done so, go ahead and check out our Orlando City podcast. We recorded that earlier tonight, as we do every week at 6:30 on a Monday, right before the Orlando Pride Pod, which is this one at 8 o'clock on a Monday as well. So thank you to everybody. We appreciate your support. Luis, any final thoughts from you before we get out of here?
Sure. I want to give a shout out to. I know we have a listener and a fan of the pod. I want to give a shout out to Delilah Burns. She's a goalkeeper, USC All State U15 from the Dominican Republic. She's the Dominican Republic's goalkeeper from the U15s.
Wow.
She right now just became part of the Orlando Pride ECNL team. She went into the tryout, she tried out, and she made it to the team. Right, so the only ECNL affiliate of the Orlando Pride. She's going to be their goalkeeper. She tried out and she made it. So I want to give congratulations to Delilah. She has a huge future ahead of her. So we're definitely going to be monitoring her. She's also checks out all of our content right now. 100. Look, just to give you like, here's Delilah right there. This is the goalkeeper that the Pride ECNL just picked up. 101 saves, 7.8 saves per match, 5 shutouts. So that was her sophomore season recap in Robinson High School. So she's definitely, a huge future ahead. And that's the type of talent, guys, that the Orlando Pride, is poaching now with all these great news of advancement in the women's sports. And kudos to Haley, kudos to everybody there for making the right choice, making the right decisions, and obviously making this beautiful sport grow even more, and giving opportunities to talents like Delilah Burns to be able to showcase her talent, especially wearing the Orlando Pride crest, which is the most important part. So, congratulations, Delilah, and thank you for your support. And no, that's it. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Vamos Pride.
Vamos Pride.
Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful night. Appreciate it. Thank you.